a lot of my ideas did start when I was in the military, when I was in Panama. And I was doing work that gave me a lot of free time. We were surveying, we would survey at night, and so all days I could give lots of time for let things unfold. Most everything I've ever done has been an unfoldment. One thing has led to another, to another. I don't think I really did anything intentionally. I came here to work for Maricopa County Planning Department as a landscape architect, land planner, and I stayed there for a little over a year and a half and decided to open my own office, my own practice. We were the only exclusive land planning landscape architectural firm. We started, our first planned community was Ahwatukee, then Mountain Park Ranch, and then ultimately the foothills. But we've just done lots of park master plans and just had a wonderful staff of 48 people at the end. When I reached my goal of 55 and decided I wanted to do something else. You might be interested in knowing how I found the farm at South Mountain. In the late 70s, in the early 80s, I was doing a lot of marathons, and then I transitioned into triathlons. I started doing a lot of bike riding. And I used to ride from my home in Tempe, close to Broadway and Rural, and I would ride up to South Mountain every morning before I go to work. And I did this for about 3 years, but I always come down Southern Avenue, turn on 32nd, go down to Baseline. And every time I would turn on 32nd Street, I would go by this pecan grove, and my bike would always make me look over, because I love trees, being a landscape architect. I looked over, and on the gate there was a little for sale sign by owner. And my bike, it being an Italian race bike, I had no control over it. It put me right at the front door of the little house, knocked on the door, and from the inside I heard this, "What the hell do you want?" And this little teeny man came to the door. His name was Skeeter Coverdale. And when I came to the door, it was very close to 5 o'clock. So I said, "Skeeter, can I come back in the morning and talk to you about this?" He said, "Sure, I'll be up." And at 3 in the morning, I thought, somebody's going to see that sign and beat me to it. So I got up, got dressed, and came down and put a towel over the gate where the sign was. I figured the big person needed some help on that one. So in the morning, I got up, noticing that in his backyard was so full of beer cans that I stopped at Circle K, bought a 6-pack of beer, and came down. And we had a wonderful negotiations, and that was how I was able to buy the 5 acres, the first 5 acres. The Harrises owned the property that Quiescence is on, and they wanted to move. They liked what we were doing on the 5 acres, and they asked if I would buy. And then a year or 2 later, Mrs. Cattleman, who owned the other 2.5 acres, passed on, and she liked us very much, and she asked her son if they would sell me the 2.5. So that made the 10. I wanted to put the land to its highest and best use, and I did not want buildings, and the garden seemed to be a natural. There weren't many organic gardens around at that time, and I just wanted it to be an educational process too, that people could walk through. But our real goal was keep this part of the agrarian character of Phoenix back in the turn of the 1900s. Many, many people have told me when they walk onto the farm, they felt there was something different. They walk down the lane here. I've allowed trees to encapsulate you. That, again, that same thing is repeated, that they will walk onto the site and say, wow, I've never been to work a day in my life. I've always been blessed to be able to do something that I love, whether it's my land planning firm, landscape architecture, whether it's my bike business, the trees company. These are all things I love to do. The farm at South Mountain was an effort to allow me to do the gentler lifestyle that was really, really important to me. I liken it to a rosebud. If out of the desire to see a perfect expression, you can't pull the petals because you'll end up bruising them. But if you give it time and nurture and feeding it, you'll end up with a perfect expression. And hopefully I could share it with others that understand what makes a difference.